All right, what's happening, beautiful people, this evening? This episode of Sunday Sermons with Sherman. Yeah, I wore my "You Can't Tell Me What to Do" shirt. Yeah, I'll be wearing this when can't nobody tell me what to do. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. You can't tell me what to do. Even though I wear that shirt, my wife still be trying to tell me what to do all the time. But other than her, nobody else can tell me what to do. Okay, so we are meeting the moderators today. That's right. The moderators of the only City Council District 2 debate, the one and only of its kind. And I will be right back and bring those people that's hosting the debate onto the show.
Determination to change the nation, I'm manifesting the truth. Back in the booth to give you the messages that's been channeling right through me. No, I'm not Jesus, although my spirit is great. I'm eating my food without a plate, escaping this place through my meditations. New life begun when I reloaded the gun and realized where I was from was not too far from the sun. Like somewhere close by the moon. Now I'm connected like Zoom. On walks of life that ever lived call me like out of the blue. So I just pass it to you, right through your speakers with clues. And if you choose to free your mind, then you will have all the tools. But I can't make you take it and shake it and mentally break yourself out. Cause freeing your mind without a doubt is something you have to try out. But once you see the light, your might, and all the power you've had, then you have reached the fifth dimension and you can brighten your path. But others who choose to follow the red pills, it's harder to swallow. Or you can wallow in your sorrows, feeling all empty and hollow. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you. The only way you'll see the truth is if it's starting with you. So please stop lying to yourself, start being truthful to you, to you.
Hey, we back and we still black. That's right, we still black. Good evening, Miss Wanda. Good evening, Joyce. So today's show, we are meeting the moderators of the only District 2 City Council debate. Everybody else got forums, we got a debate because we want to separate the pretenders from the contenders. That's right. We want to see who's really about that city council life, representing District 2 and not just pretending to be about that. So today we got Miss Olivia and my brother Jaden. I'm gonna go ahead and bring them on. Miss Jada might join us later. If not, I will get a brief interview in with her. That's the youngest of the bunch. She's out with her family right now, but we still gonna get a chance to talk to her briefly. So without any further ado, here comes Miss Olivia. Hey, Olivia.
Hi.
Hey. And then brother Jaden. What's up, bro?
What's up?
So yeah, we are here today. Finally, it's getting closer and closer. All the planning and preparation and everything y'all have been doing. I've been kind of shadowing, watching everything and seeing everything. And man, I just have to say, first of all, thank y'all for being courageous enough to pull this off. And even having the will to want to be involved in what's going on in District 2. It's a breath of fresh air. Hey, Miss Stacy G. Is definitely a relief to see that we have younger people involved. It gives me hope for the future. And I just want to tell y'all I love y'all and I appreciate y'all for doing what y'all doing, man, for real.
I love you back.
Oh, for sure. So everybody saying good evening. Hey y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Let's start with Miss Olivia. Olivia. So who is Olivia? First of all, who's Olivia?
Well, I'm a woman, I suppose, first and foremost, respect there. But my name's Olivia. I'm 22 years old. I'm currently at UNO as a full-time student studying interdisciplinary studies with major or concentrations, I should say, in Black studies and women and gender studies. And for those of you who don't know what interdisciplinary studies is, we're kind of just making it up as we go. I'm forming my own curriculum, and it's been real fun. Let's see. I work at Central High. I'm a special ed para there. Go Eagles. I am a Marion grad, and before that, I was in OPS for the majority of my life in South O for the dual language program. So that's a brief synopsis about kind of what I'm up to right now, and I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And brother Jaden, the veteran of them all, this guy is a vet. I come to him for questions about some political stuff at a time, and just don't take your eyes off of him because he might be running for mayor or something pretty soon. Don't be surprised now. But for the people who don't know, let them know who you are, brother.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jaden Perkins. I'm a community organizer, political consultant, and policy analyst. I'm 24 years old. Currently, I work at the Heartland Worker Center as a policy fellow, where we analyze state policy at the state legislature and local level. And more recently, I was involved in a number of ballot measures and initiatives to get paid sick leave, medical marijuana, keeping public dollars in public schools, those types of campaigns. So I have a lot of grassroots experience in organizing events here in North Omaha, and I'm excited to be moderating this debate along with Olivia and Jada for Wednesday.
Oh yeah, see, that's why I call him the vet. You see that stuff he do? I'm just now getting into that. I'm 48. It took me a minute to get involved in politics because I was in the streets doing stupid stuff, going back and forth to jail, getting slapped upside the head, by the law. And but yeah, we finally got it together, and I 100% support the young people in my community, especially when they're able to keep themselves from being involved in the system. And so that's kind of along the questions I'm gonna be asking tonight is to see what makes these guys tick. And so for Olivia, I want to know, and you are what, 22? Okay, 22. I want to know what made Olivia be a 22-year-old young lady doing the things you're doing when your peers and other 22-year-olds is doing other stuff. Let's just say that they're doing a lot of different stuff. And the system that is out there, the program on social media, right? It tells you to be what, the baddest bitch, run around here, doing all this crazy psychological warfare on yourself. And what makes you not say that you're not doing it or whatever, but what makes you be in the realm that you're in outside of the social media programming that got most of our young people stuck?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say I have been around just slightly less than you, obviously, but I'm not perfect, just because
Absolutely.
I'm sitting in this space right now. I'd like to leave room for that. And I think what sparked my initiative for wanting to join the realm of grassroots activism was a feeling of hopelessness. I've grown up mixed race in the United States, which not only was left me privy to a lot of identical crises, in my own mind, but it kind of warps your vision of the world, like you say, when you grow up with social media, and there are all these expectations of what you should be in your face all of the time. And that's why activism is so freeing to me, because it's kind of something that just makes sense. Words make sense on paper to me. I've never been too great at math, but helping people has always been a dream of mine, and working alongside nonprofits and advocating for policy changes at a local level makes me feel like I'm wielding a type of power that I don't necessarily have all the time when I'm facing the world, just because, as you mentioned, there are a lot of step backs out there. And in this world, things make sense. The path is clear, and there's a mission to be fought for. And, you don't falter from it. Even if you make mistakes, it welcomes you back. And that's why I really kind of love doing what I do. And it came from the spark initially. I guess I was just outspoken, passionate kid. Kind of got me into some trouble. So this has been
a little bit.
just a wee bit, but I'm finding my way alongside everyone else, and this is the space I've chosen to do it in. So
yeah, and I know it's tough, you know, like you said, growing up with social media. I mean, for me, I didn't have it like that. So like social media, like if I got in a fight in my neighborhood, it was only the people in the neighborhood who knew about it. Or if I made a mistake or something, that was it. Just the people around me. It wasn't blasted around and shared and going viral, you know, getting beat down, drug out, or even having breakdowns or mental moments online, you know, because of course, when you log in and say what's on your mind.
right.
So sometimes we'll just put the stuff, what's on our mind, and then you have to discipline yourself to take some time from social media to figure out what's really on your mind and not share it, but just inner think it, you know. And I appreciate the fact that you did that. I know there was a time where you told me that, hey, I'm taking a break from social media. That's discipline right there for you to be so young, to know that sometimes you even need a break from social media, because the program, like it's definitely got a lot of people your age, my age, everybody in like a hook. So we feel like we have to be on there and getting those likes, you know, it feeds your brain. And if you don't get the likes, then you don't fit in. Or if you ain't wearing the clothes that people tell you should be wearing, you know, or being the person that they tell you to be, like you said, it can be testing, to say the least. So why do you feel like you get like a kick or some kind of like you said, the positive feedback on helping others? What made you want to help other people at such a young age, though?
I've seen some really dark places in my heart, in my mind, in the world, and I've felt pain that if I can help it, if I can work towards it, want to make sure no one else feels, or at least reach people who similarly feel, you know, that pain. It's a universal language, just like love. And I want to touch those hearts and be in the places that help needs to be outreached, just like, you know, when I was in my time of need, that like, almost that hope, that's what got me out. And that is what's saved my mindset from being, you know, in the gutter. And if I can see that outreach for other people, you know, I'm learning in the midst of all that, and it is very healing for me. So
yeah, you better than me. At 22, I already had a baby. I already had been to jail. I had a felony assault on the police and marijuana with intent to deliver. So I was doing bad stuff. Brother Jaden. All right. So let me ask you a question. What keeps you at the age of, you said 24?
Yeah.
24, man. What keeps you grounded at the age of 24 to where you are interested in even politics and the things that you're doing at such a young age? I mean, 24, I just wasn't thinking about this stuff. What gives you the oomph to do that?
I think for me, it's having a passion for public service and serving the people and for the issues that matter most to our community, specifically Black people. Folks in North Omaha, folks that are facing poverty, folks that are facing, uh, you know, the end of their month coming around and can't pay rent and stuff. People that need food, people that need um, stuff that should be a right, like healthcare, stuff like that. So that's what drives my passion for public service and for seeking out policy changes by any means necessary, whether it's at the grassroots level or the state or national level.
Man, I wish I cared about people younger. I mean, I think I've always did, but you know, we grew up in the crack era. Both my parents was addicted to drugs, so we was super survival for me. And yeah. So I think that with you already having that, that's why I said you'll be running for mayor, governor, or something soon, because you already got that drive and you care about people. And like you said, stuff that affects everybody, the Black community, that's just a rarity at your age. And so I'm always interested to just kind of pick y'all brain and see what makes y'all want to be like that. And then, like I said, there's so many other things you can be involved in as a young person. And with you, you know, being in North Omaha, where there's not that many of us, I think it's like 53,000 Black people. But you still care about the conditions of your community. And so I really want to know, like for you, Jaden, do you have any? Do you get any? I would say not feedback or any kind of criticism from people your age, like why you care about that stuff or why are you involved in that? Do you get any of that?
Oh yeah, I think I get people that are kind of flabbergasted at the fact that at my young age that I'm so involved in doing the stuff that I do and seeking out the policy changes that I'm seeking out. I think it's a rarity
Mm-hmm.
that we see like people like Olivia and I in the field doing what we do. And
Yeah,
so I think more young people need to see that in
I think
order
so.
for folks to drive change, especially for future generations.
I believe that. And Miss Wanda said, research and choose your nonprofits carefully, young people, when supporting and donating services. Looks can be deceiving. And Miss Wanda is one of
Absolutely.
my go-to people. I can have a phone conversation with her. She know everything going on behind the scenes in North Omaha. That's my lady right there. I got her saved in my phone as Queen Wanda Lewis because she's a queen of information. And she's right. When you choose a nonprofits, you want to be careful because they'll try to sun you. I know you a woman, Olivia, but they'll sun you. They'll take your ideas and they'll put you on their nonprofit, take your ideas, but they'll never let you get the forefront of things. It's always in the shadow of the nonprofit. And I think it's important for y'all to understand that, and like you do already, that you are the creators and the inventors of everything. And the world feeds off young people's energy. They feed off your opinions. They just get them free because it's on social media. And I think I was talking to you about this before, Olivia, where uh I was talking about New Balance shoes. When I was growing up, there was Payless right there on 30th, and you got New Balances in there for like $20. And if you had them on, people made fun of you. They called them nigga shoes sometimes because they got the little end on the side, right? Now, since young people said they tight, they in the mall for $100. I ain't even bought me a pair because it's just something in me to make me not. I can't pay $100 something for some New Balances when I know they used to be the shoes that everybody teed up. But I guess but I just think the creativity of you guys and what y'all say is important. The world feeds off that, and so we need to highlight you, and that's why I wanted to do this before the debate so people get to know who you are, what makes you tick. And if anybody in the chat got a question, you are more than welcome to ask it. We'll try to get to it. Miss Erica Phelps said good evening, and Wanda said appreciate your interest and work. She said, I think it's important to differentiate between local nonprofits that are making a huge difference and the exploitive nonprofit industrial complex. Correct, Miss Erica Felt. And she's another one of those people that always offers some good insight. And so, Jaden, in the work that you do you see the difference between local nonprofits that are making huge differences in the exploitive nonprofit industrial complex?
Oh, absolutely, all the time. There's definitely, I'm not going to name drop or anything,
Yeah.
but there's definitely, you can name a lot of examples of, the nonprofit's mission not being totally connected with the work that they're doing in the community. And
Mm,
there's an oversaturation of that we know of in North Omaha just within itself. I mean,
yeah.
there's probably 100 of them that you can list
Yeah.
on down the line.
Yeah, and anytime
So,
I look up nonprofits, I see because they bulk the churches in there too, but there are a lot of nonprofits. What about you,
yeah.
Olivia? I mean, like with the nonprofits, are you comfortable with the work that you've done with nonprofits, or do you feel like you have to start your own to get your mission out there? How do you feel about that?
That's a conflicting question right now, given the cuts that are occurring everywhere and considering,
Yeah.
like Jaden was testifying to, of the oversaturation of nonprofits,
Mm,
not necessarily operating within their mission statements. I don't know if I want to open my own yet, and frankly, I think I still have a lot to learn, given my own personal experience working within nonprofits, which I must admit has been subliminal. It hasn't been the greatest experience, although I really just think that was just from a lack of communication and the overworking of the staff on the nonprofits that I was at. But I can for sure say, as a young person operating just within community events that are often hosted by nonprofits, that our voices or lived experiences are not necessarily always welcomed at the table, or in fact, they're diminished or not welcomed at all. And that's certainly hard to navigate when, for one, you're young. For my experience, I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman, I'm a Black queer woman. So I have a problem with that. And that's why I wanted to help with this, because it's a way for me to navigate that field without necessarily having to hop through nonprofit hoops.
Yeah, and just a quick search, it says there are 2,758 nonprofits in Omaha, Nebraska. So with that many, you would think the issues that they're tackling or say they're tackling on paper would be, probably over or solved. She said local nonprofits, while making large changes in our communities, can still be undercutting their employees. Right. And somebody answered her, Delaney Thompson, that's any business. So you have to know the business, for profit or nonprofit. Right. But with that many, 2,758, I mean, come on. And I don't know, most of my viewers already know my thoughts on nonprofit. That's why I have never became a nonprofit myself, only because I believe in for-profit, and I know a nonprofit is a business that you can make a profit with, but at the same time, there is an oversaturation of it. And I know that I can get the numbers and I got the data and all that stuff, but I don't know. For me, with the businesses in North Omaha, the lack thereof in our business district from Cummings to Lake is supposed to be, right? And ever since the death of my cousin Vivian Strong, we have not seen the businesses come back to that area. And it has turned into a nonprofit district. And so I personally feel like if I was to become a nonprofit, I'm just feeding into the historical nature of what happened after my cousin was killed. And so if I was to ever do anything, I would want a business on 24th Street to kind of help spark that business aspect that we're supposed to have, where we can see some kind of economic development and freedom, and everybody's not waiting in the nonprofit line for grant. So, Miss Erica says she's suspicious of any organization that claim to be helping a specific population, but leadership isn't of that population. Woo! Girl, you said it.
Yeah.
Oh. And so
I think I saw like an article too, like not too long ago, that said like most of the nonprofits in Omaha are like the boards have mostly white men on them, on their boards, which is interesting.
Yeah. And what do y'all think about what she's saying? That they claim to be helping the population, but isn't of that population. So we talk about that a lot, where a lot of the nonprofits are ran by people that's not from Omaha or don't even live North Omaha. Olivia, what you got to say about that? Do you agree with that statement?
I agree 110%. I did a summer leadership job over at Boys Town earlier this summer and was absolutely appalled by the treatment of staff and the treatment of students who operate within that organization. On Juneteenth, they served us chicken and watermelon and grape Kool-Aid. And I did contact the news service asking to get some coverage on that, but got ghosted. Channel 7. So that was, and I had another coworker of mine who was darker skinned than I, and the treatment between us two were two completely different experiences, and there was no one to go to talk to about the event because everyone in HR didn't look like us. And I feel like a lot of Omaha is kind of on the same page with OHA and HUD and their boards and how they're subjecting their tenants to deplorable living conditions, which have been reported for over 2 decades, and there's nothing been done. So there's countless examples of that we see from well-established nonprofits or well-established organizations that are supposedly for the people that are further contributing to suffering.
Right. And look at what Mr. Levering said. Nonprofits only exist to solve the problems that capitalists make. Woo! That's another young brother right there that be on it. And Miss Erica, I think this comes from your statement, Jaden, where you said a lot of white men is there. She said they do, followed by white women. And she also wanted to know what place was that you were talking about, Olivia, that served y'all watermelon chicken and Kool-Aid.
Boys Town.
Boys Town. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Boys Town.
I got pictures too if there's any concessions. So.
Wow.
Receipts.
Yeah. What year was that, Olivia? What year was that?
This was the summer of 2024.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we might have to get on their neck for that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she said not surprised but still pissed. Yeah. So when it comes to this District 2 City Council debate, what made you guys want it to be a debate instead of just a forum?
Jaden, do you want to start?
Jaden,
I can go. Well, like we were saying earlier, there's, every time there's an election cycle, we have all these forums, right? We have all these forums, people gather, they talk, and this, that, and the other, but you really don't get to see a difference in each single candidate, especially in like the City Council District 2 race, which historically has between 6 and 10 people running every 4 years for that position as well. And so with this debate on Wednesday, we're really going to highlight the differences between each candidate that is able to make the ballot, and really highlight their policy, what they're doing trying to do in terms of policy, and how they'll take that message down to City Hall and fight for the people of District 2.
Right. Yeah. Ms. Wanda said improvised community, impoverished, I think that's supposed to say, is where you can find the most nonprofits. They will be used as a head count for funding purposes. Shamila saying wow to Olivia's Boys Town experience. Mr. Levering is clapping at what you just said. And of course, Michelle, that right there is the backup without being called. Michelle will show up if she see me on the live or anywhere, something going on. She just pull up and she be like, what's going on? What's happening? She be ready for all the action. Olivia, with it being a debate, and this District 2 City Council race has a lot of candidates. What are you hoping to happen at this debate? What are you hoping to get from it, like your own experience, and then what do you want hoping that the public can experience?
Well, my own experience is always to learn something new. My grandma always says, if you're not learning, you're dead, So I'm really excited to use this opportunity to kind of boost my academic background. I'm taking argumentation and debate right now, so it'll be, a good test of the waters. But what I'm hoping that constituents get from the debate is that it'll be an educational event that highlights policy issues and fosters community engagement. Because with such a divisible world that everyone is experiencing right now, it's togetherness that's going to separate us from that. And, I see debate as dialogue. We present arguments in many situations in our day-to-day lives. And so I think the opportunity to be able to wield an argument on behalf of the people, which is how I'm seeing this debate, is a really exciting opportunity that I'm quite grateful to be a part of.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Miss Erica said off topic, but she's happy to see Jaden healthy and at it. Yeah, what, nothing gonna keep that boy down. That boy was ready. He was like calling early, like, yep, what we about to do, what's happening, before it was even time to get back in the streets. He was ready for the streets. He had dreams of the streets. So yeah, she said fuck cancer, and I agree, fuck cancer. Mr. Levering, what efforts are being taken to encourage people to attend? Typically, the public is not well informed of when these events are happening. So I'll answer that briefly and give them a chance to answer. But they did do an interview on William King's show. We've been promoting this for about a month and a half or 2 months, and not just online, but in public spaces. This show today is informing people on what to do and how they can be a part of it. And we'll also be broadcasting it live. So it's not like if you miss it, you can't go back and watch, because we'll have it broadcast live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And as a registered voter, you can always go back, see the answer, hear some of the questions, hear some of the way that people answered. And before April 1st, you got a whole month, almost a month, basically, to engage and listen to what they said. So that way you can make the best vote possible that that encourages, that you feel like the way they answer the question is somebody you want in that leadership role for District 2. But like Olivia, I know you've been attending a few different events and letting people know that you're having it. I attended a black and brown event where they had you say it about 3 times. Black, brown, and red event where they had you stand up a few times and say it. And like I said, Brother Jaden was on there with William King for about an hour, and they went over it multiple times. And so, yeah, I think using social media and then being in social settings is probably the best way that we've been advertising it. We haven't done printed off stuff and sticking it in the windows. Most of the time, people at stores and stuff, they're not paying no attention. So we kind of decided not to do it that way, only because, like I said, people's not paying no attention. And again, since it's going to be recorded, you can always go back and catch it. I do want to get into some of the papers. Let's see here. Some of these, where is it at? Oh, okay, right here. I do want to get into some of this stuff that we had that I wanted to pull up as far as like the material for District 2. Let me see here. Right here. All right, let's share this screen. The screen. All right. So here we got a screen of what is Omaha City Council. Omaha operates under a mayor-council form of government established by the 1956 Home Rule Charter. And this is a map, just basically the breakdown of districts and the mayor, chief executive officer, and then you got a city council board of 7 members and a city council who operates as nonpartisan. So again, it's not about what party you're a part of. This is about for the people. And so one of the things I like about it is a person can't run on being either Democrat or Republican. They should just run on what can you bring to the table for the people. And so my involvement with city council lately, I know a lot of people saying, Sherman, when you gonna run? When you gonna run? I'm still running on the treadmill right now, trying to get some of this fat off. So that's the running I'm doing. But my involvement with city council lately have been just really holding people accountable. And I want to make sure that not only are we holding the people that we voted in accountable, but they're actually listening to the action and then doing what we're asking. And so I have been kind of disrespectful to all 7 of these people because they wasn't listening. I mean, we was going through a housing crisis with these people at city in OHA, City View and things like that. And every time I tried to go down there to talk to them about some of this stuff and the way they were voting, I think the most disrespectful I was when OHA had a couple of board members up for retention. And instead of looking at the body of work they've done, they just blindly voted them 7-0. Everybody's back in their position without looking at the fact that all of them have allowed these people in these towers to suffer in these just crazy conditions. And I didn't like that because you're not looking at their record. Just because somebody's nominated for their position, they've been in it all this time, but they haven't done nothing that they're supposed to do. Why are we just blindly re-putting them in the position on the OHA board? And so the last time I was there, I was told that I was being a bully to them, which I don't care what they say, and they can't tell me what to do. Actually, when I said it, I had on this shirt, you can't tell me what to do. Because not only do I feel like we have to speak up, like Olivia said, and Jaden, about being there to support the community. Those are a lot of elders in those towers. And I speak for a lot of the elders because I grew up respecting my elders. That's what I was taught. And man, and if people feel like they can't say nothing because they have a fear of retaliation, guess what? I'm gonna say it. You can't retaliate against me because I don't live there. Jada don't live there. Olivia don't live there. So when we have these issues, these are the people that I'm calling to show up and address these issues because we don't live there and we ain't scared, right? So I do want to look at this next one here. Olivia, it says, what does the city council do? Let's break down the government lingo. So the task, passing, amending, and repealing local ordinance. Translation, create new laws, changing existing ones, eliminating outdated laws. So when you talk about outdated laws, Olivia, I mean, things do change with the change of time, right? What are some of the outdated laws, or do you have any ideas of the outdated laws that you think we should be changing that comes over the time? Like, I mean, even the cars changed, right? The Chevy Impala went from no power steering and a straight across seat with no seat belts to the one we got now is short and they got a lot of buttons, bells, and whistles. So it changed, right? What are some of the outdated things that we're speaking about here?
So, on the top of my mind when you're asking this question is something Jaden and I talked about earlier when we were working on the final script for the debate come Wednesday. The city council has not heard the citizens' opinions on police brutality, police violence, police shootings in years. In fact, in 2021 and 2022, they didn't hold any meetings at all. So I believe, what was it, Jaden, like the past 5? There's been like 7 meetings regarding this topic that city council members have had reaching out to citizens. So that's one.
And they don't do any public meetings on it either.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a problem, especially considering we experience police brutality right here at home. We've had young men die. We've had women be harassed in their homes unjustly with their children present, just for being Black.
And like Miss Valentine, remember that cop was throwing trash on her car and she didn't know until one day she finally caught him and confronted him. Like, what are you doing, dude?
So when we're talking about like outdated laws or policies, that's one of the first ones that comes to mind because technically it is a law, but it's not happening. Why? It seems like it's being kind of deemed outdated and being self-eliminated from the council itself. And we're hoping, like you had mentioned earlier, that accountability piece and educating voters will help light some fire under those city council seats and maybe help them stand up every once in a while for something that really matters.
Right. Ms. Wanda said, did any of the city council reps or candidates reach out to you regarding City View? Yeah. So Danny Bagley is his district. So I've been in direct communication with him still to this day. He's probably the only one that's a seating member that reached out. Juanita Johnson did give us some money for that barbecue when we fed everybody at City View. And yeah, I think, Ben Gray showed up for the walkthrough for the first 3 floors. So, I mean, and Mike Lee was there the whole walkthrough. So yeah, and then who else? Oh, Maurice showed up when we did feed the people. He was there. He was working so fast, I didn't get a chance to really talk to him, but he was there helping volunteer when he was passing out the gloves and stuff. So, I mean, they helped. I think that came down to a humanitarian thing, not really about being an elected official or running. It was just, everybody wanted to come through and help. We had a big task. It was like 500 meals we had to feed, pass out, and then all those kids with the gloves and the hats, and they gave out toothbrushes and toothpaste and all kind of things at that day. So it did take a lot of hands on deck for that. And so yeah, some of them did show up. Anytime someone speaks the truth, they're considered bullies. Yeah. And you know what? I really don't care what they think. And I appreciate them even telling me they felt like I was being a bully, because I did tell them that I will be down here disrespectfully. Every time something has to do with North Omaha or against the people, I will be down here disrespectfully, because when I was showing up respectfully, you didn't pay me no attention. So when I be disrespectful, then it's, oh, Sherman, you're a bully. So, okay, I'll wear that hat. The cop doing that was sick. We should never forget those are the bullies. Absolutely. I think he was such a weirdo. He was dumping trash on her car, and knowing that she knew he was a cop in the building, I think he was trying to create this damsel in distress, and hopefully she would come to him and say, hey, somebody's messing with me, can you help? And he was the one doing it with his stupid hoodie on, with his stupid face, talking about the police chief said that he was going to revoke him being able to work as an officer anymore, but we don't even know if that happened, because again, there's never no public follow-through. Okay. I'm over here still stuck on the Boys Town thing. But anyway, Sherman, I'm off Wednesday, and I know we're supposed to be a blizzard on Wednesday, but I got a 4-wheel drive. We can go make the visit to Boys Town. I told y'all she'd be about that. We'll address that offline, Michelle, because yeah, it definitely needs to be handled. And yeah, truth hurts, way to be heard. Yeah. So the next thing is adopting a city budget. Decide how many public funding goes to police, fire services, schools, public parks, infrastructure, etc. Jaden, um, that task alone, I know that's something that's dear and near to you. The funding of the police and these different organizations, city official organizations that is supposed to be around. So, what's your intake on input on that right there?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure most folks that are tuning in are aware, but Omaha currently funds the police department at a rate of, I think it's 36% of the city budget goes to the Omaha Police Department
Mm,
currently.
mm, mm.
The mayor just gave a huge raise to the police department um, from 2023 to 2024. I think it was about a $10 million raise, and I
Mm.
believe she's proposing even more money for next year.
Wow. Wow, yeah, that's crazy. Another task they are that they do at city council is confirming appointments. This is kind of what I was talking about. Approving leaders like the police chief, city attorney, Omaha Housing Authority board members. And I just got a big issue with that. Yeah, I mean, I could hark on that all day, but I just don't think that they should be getting appointed or even Joni in her position just because the mayor say so. But right now, currently on the city council, you always have a 4-3 vote because there's 4 people who always going to agree with the mayor and 3 people who might not. And the 3 people who might not is Juanita, Bagley, and Hug. But everybody else, they're pretty much going to agree with what the mayor say. And so we got to get that broken up. And I'm glad to see, I don't know if y'all have checked the election commission lately, but there's more people running in these other districts against other people. And I'll be pulling that up here before we get off. Commissioning independent audits, review city finances to ensure transparency and proper use of funds, monitor misuse of taxpayer money, which clearly hasn't been happening because one of the city council members got arrested for doing that same thing. So Omaha is like this little cabal of people who they all get along and they all like WWE. They might dispute in front of us, but behind closed doors, they all cool with each other, right, Olivia? I just don't see the monitoring of the misuse of taxpayer money. I just don't see it.
Well, the only time they do it, Sherman, is to defend the use of the streetcar being built.
Right.
That's the only time they do it. They don't do it to audit the police department. They don't do it for nothing else. All this taxpayer money that's going to corporations, nothing.
Yeah, and then the last one I see is making sure city operations align with the charter. Make sure the city follows the home charter rules and is running ethics. I don't know. I seen a commercial when I'm on YouTube. I don't pay for YouTube, so I still see commercials. But I seen a commercial on YouTube. Oh, she said in TIF funding. I seen a commercial where the mayor she got this commercial on YouTube that says, "I'm the mayor and my first appointment or job is to make sure the people of Omaha." Girl, if you don't get out of here, talking about the Omaha is safe and all that, when you claim on TV and said you ain't responsible for helping those people in City View move, even after we did the walkthrough and seeing how terrible the conditions are, the safety of those people was violated. The majority of the doors was kicked in. People didn't have a way to lock their door, but you're saying that you care about the safety of the people. So yeah, that's a big joke. How can I make sure my voice and the voice of those I love are represented through city council operations? Voice your opinion. Public hearings. Whoo! And Miss Weston be on this about the public hearings. I swear she'll send me an email telling me what public hearing I better be at and bring the troops when we need it. But she said public hearings are held for every ordinance or resolution on the agenda. Share your support or concerns. If you know of a problem outside of a political agenda, bring it to the attention of your community by presenting the issue in front of the council. Collective voices are hard to overlook. Now, Olivia, how important is that when you talk about showing up to voice your opinion on the agendas?
That's all we can do. It's the very minimum. If you don't even have to know a thing about what a political agenda is, if you show up, And if you speak your mind on issues that affect you, I guarantee it falls under the realm of a political agenda, because that's just the world we live in.
Right. When I started getting involved in city council, I think my second time going to a council meeting, I voiced my opinion, and not knowing at that time that it was going to be heard for years later to come. But when I told Ben Gray his last name was Gray because his black was faded, that and Jaden in the background, he like, it was an opinion, but it was also the truth, because the mayor was trying to cram him down our throat right after he just lost the election of representing us, and then you're trying to put him on the land bank to represent us again, and we just didn't.
No qualifications either.
With no qualifications, and we all went down. Jaden was there. We all testified, and it was just a big, he felt like an attack. But to me, it goes back to what Olivia said. I didn't know the policies or the political way of doing nothing. I still wanted to voice my opinion. So showing up to do that, and we all did it. It definitely made a difference. And the vote came down to 3-4. He didn't get it. So, but she did turn around and still appointed from the handpick of usual people. Where and when? The Omaha City Council meets every Tuesday at 2 p.m. in the Legislative Chamber on the second level of the Omaha Douglas City Civic Center, 1819 Farnham Street. Virtual attendance options are available. So if you didn't know that, now you do. And I'm glad you put this stuff together, Olivia, because a lot of people don't know, and this is their way to get engaged. So stay engaged, understanding how your local government works, empowering you to advocate for the change you want to see. Plus, civic engagement encourages the chances of meeting like-minded people. So yeah, I've met a lot of people at City Council, and I think that as long as we continue to be a part of it, but for the most part, I know Jaden, you was going a lot more than me. Did you notice any time that it was a lot of people there? Most of the time the seats is empty, but when did you notice a lot of people there?
I think when it's like a controversial issue that comes up, I can think back to like one of the first times I went. They were actually going down there to oppose Dave Palladino getting TIF money for his developments, because he was a slumlord. If for those that don't know who Dave Palladino is, Dino Storage, he's a big slumlord in Omaha, and he was applying to get TIF funding from the city, and all the folks that rented from him or rented from his companies, went down there, and there was a huge line out the door to testify against him getting that funding. And then another time was the Ben Gray land bank hearing. And then in 2020, there was quite a few times where we went down there to testify on like the budget and to like protest Stothert and stuff like that too.
Yeah. And Ms. Wanda said
really hyper local issues, when people are fired up, that's when you see a lot of people go down.
Yeah, and I noticed some of those other neighborhoods, when they have issues in their community, like outside of North Omaha, man, they bring like 20 people and they just hold up the whole meeting by testifying. And I think North Omaha, we need to get better at showing up for stuff like that, because then when something is passed and it affects you, everybody wondering how it got passed. Well, this is how. And my issue again goes back to City Council. Even sometimes when we show up to do stuff like that, they still go forward with it, even though we show up North Omaha, like with the liquor license on 24th Street in that little plaza next to Jackson Takeout. The guy, he got the store, right? And he wanted his liquor license. Everybody showed up at City Council to say we didn't want it, and they didn't get it. But guess what? He went to the State Liquor Commission and still got his liquor license to sell liquor again in North Omaha, where we already have liquor stores on every corner, and it was just something we didn't want. But, again, it passed. Ms. Wanda said this past Tuesday at City Council, they just appointed 3 new people to the Omaha Municipal Land Bank. Only 1 City Council member opposed. No one from the community showed in concern. We have to do better. Most of those properties are in District 2. So, again, this goes back to the engagement piece that Olivia typed up. And Peyton said we need to change the times of City Council meetings to allow more people to attend. 2 p.m. is during most work hours, and it seemed intentional. Brother, that's absolutely right. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Who's off at 2 p.m. to go to a city council? And sometimes they last all the way up until 6. So, yeah, Von Chapman said it's very important that people view the city council meeting agenda. That's right. And they come out every Thursday before the following Tuesday. You can find that agenda online. I learned that from Miss Weston. She the one who told me about it. She always send it to me with the highlights of the stuff that we need to be focused on for District 2. She don't be playing. So why is District 2 specifically hosting a city council candidate debate? So when we made this, it was about 7 candidates. Right now, there is still currently 7 registered candidates. They have until tomorrow to get their stuff turned in. And because there was like 11 or 12, but right now there's only 7 registered. And so they do have until tomorrow to get their stuff turned in. And if they don't, then they might as well not even show up to the debate, because there ain't no point in you debating when you ain't got your stuff turned in. A debate is crucial for District 2 because it represents one of Omaha's most diverse areas, encompassing communities with unique challenges, lived experience, and opportunities. This includes historical red line communities like the North Omaha, home to African Americans, Native, Hispanic, Asian, and immigrant populations. This district also intersects severe poverty, homelessness, and middle to upper class communities, all within a close proximity. A debate provides a platform to address these disparities and ensure underrepresented voices are heard in city governance. So yeah, Joyce said this is why neighborhood associations are very necessary, right? Mr. Levin, I think there needs to be a public page where the information is shared, similar to First Sky Omaha, like the city council agenda. I think that's true. Maybe we should start a city council District 2 agenda items page where you can come there specifically to see what's on city council. Michelle said, I went to a meeting down here in Florence last Monday and I left because I did not feel welcome there. Wow. He said, I hope Ben Gray don't win. I just don't know about this guy. Yeah, and I'll be in the audience this time. I'm not going to be on the platform like with the moderators. And I got some questions too that I want answered. And I want to be able to add them publicly. Ask them publicly. I did have a lot of calls and stuff for me to talk with the city council people. And I decided not to do it only because at that time, I just did not want to meet with nobody until they met with these guys. Because to me, if you can't show up for what the young people questions and the stuff they asking, then I don't even want to talk to you at all. So, Olivia, since you were the one who did those papers, why did you feel it was important to break it down the way you did for the community to understand like the basic of city council?
Well, I certainly had to educate myself on everything the city council did before I accepted a position such as this. And that got me thinking, I really had people my age in mind when I was making it, because everyone I feel like around me is kind of really worried about their hustle or really worried about their degree or making it to tomorrow. And like you said earlier, they are severely affected by the issues and ordinances that get carried out within these agendas. But the people that I'm surrounded by don't necessarily have all the tools needed for success in order to properly represent themselves or these issues at these kinds of meetings. So my idea behind making these slides was, of course, that, as I mentioned earlier, knowledge is freedom. Learning is something that breaks chains. And in order to infiltrate government or have a say in it properly, you need to know how it operates. And I've always said I would never want to be a politician, but I need to know how they move.
Absolutely. And so I do have this screen up here for y'all to take a look at. Let me see if I can make this bigger. All right. That's for the people that wear bifocals. Okay, so here's the 2025 primary people that's already got their paperwork in. So Pete Festerson got a challenger, Mark Brannon, and that's for District 1. And of course, Omaha City Council District 2, Lavanya Goodwin, Juanita Johnson, William King, Tyrone Urey. Who is that? Ben Gray, Maurice Jones, and Michael A. Lee. And no shade to you, Brother Urey. I just didn't know who you were. I think I've asked maybe 50 people, and they all said they didn't know. But, hopefully at this debate, if you are there, you have a chance to let people know who you are. Say, call Tyrone. Okay, we'll see, Tyrone. And then District 3, Danny Bagley and Michael Pilly Pattis. I don't know how to say his name. Did I say that right? I don't even know who that is, but he got his stuff in a few days ago. So, Brother Bagley, you got some competition now. Yeah. District 4. Ron Hug, Andrew Adams, and Gilbert Ayala. Ayala? Is that, am I saying that right, Jaden? Ayala. Okay. Yeah. So, now we got some more people because for a while, some of these people were unchallenged. Don Rowe, he's one that's unchallenged. Nobody wanted to challenge the lumberman. Did y'all know Don Rowe used to cut lumber? He was a lumberjack. If you see him now, he a big dude. That's a big old dude. Brinker Harding is unchallenged in District 6. District 7, Amy Melton, and somebody's challenging her by the name of Tim Carter. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see. And then for the mayor, look who we got. John Ewing, Gene Stothert, Mean Gene Okerlund, Terry Brewer, that's my uncle right there, Mike McDonald, and Jasmine Harris.
Woo!
Yeah, so we got ourselves a race. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see how this go. And you can always find this information on votedouglascounty-ne.gov and click on candidates. I think the title it says candidate information. Yep, candidates and elected officials, and then candidates up for election. That's where you can find this information. And so before the debate, since our debate is on the 5th, we're going to the deadline is the 3rd tomorrow. So we'll call on the 4th and get all the final people. And then on the 5th, those are the people who will be there. What did Miss Erica say? I love this so much. Just got back from DC to speak with Nebraska reps about Medicaid, SNAP, and of course, child care subsidy. Oh, don't get me started on Don fried bacon. I learned a lot, but need to understand local lawmaking and regulating, starting with city council. I've heard that John Ewing has already been determined to win Omaha mayor.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
It's not my vote.
I'm voting for Jasmine, but okay.
I'm also voting for Jasmine Harris. Did Ewing have a plan for the streetcar to get it? Without settling it? I'm just curious.
Lady, man, I should have screenshotted your face. That was so funny. He was like, "We'll see about that." So I take it that
you're gonna get mad at me for saying that, but oh well.
Oh yeah,
we'll see about that.
Will. I'm sure they watching. One thing about my lives I noticed, we'll have like 15, 20 people tapped in. As soon as I get off and I can click and see the views, it'll be like 100-something people watching. Plus, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, so we got a whole bunch of silent watchers. First guy call them ghost listeners, so they'll listen and tune in but won't say nothing. He laughing at you, Jaden, because yeah, that was funny. But I got a feeling just from asking around that the young people are mobilizing for Jasmine Harris. And it's no shade to none of the other candidates, not even my Uncle Terry. I just think that, Jasmine, usually when I'm in spaces where there's a younger crowd or something important in District 2, she's there. And not all the time as a candidate. She shows up to people's birthday parties and all that kind of stuff. So, she's one of those people who's really, really in the community. And I have spoken with Brother Ewing and all these people. So, it'll be a good race. I think Mike McDonald might have shot himself in the foot with that latest statement, talking about our sister at the mayor's office, which I think that lady is a sweet, beautiful woman. She's definitely caring. And every time that we have issues, even with the last City View thing, she met with us, and we were starting to plan on what we were going to have to do if we had to evacuate. It wasn't the mayor that met with us. It was her, Tamara. Yeah, I think that's how you say her name. And she was not only real attentive, she took notes. She really was wanting to make sure that those people had somewhere to go. So for him to talk about her in any kind of way, I think is reckless and careless. And he's just one of them people. I'm voting for the best qualified mediocrity. So that means Jasmine Harris has my vote. See, that's what I'm talking about. Please apply your vote to count. That's right. And so me and Olivia was just talking before we jumped on here to talk about voter registration. So we're going to work on having people registered to vote at the event on Wednesday because Sundiata, who was running for District 2, he called me today and he said as he was collecting signatures, but he said he done because he had to leave and go to Minnesota again. and he was been in and out of town all week because we got a lot of stuff going on with Amir, which is his nephew, and different things that he's working on in Minnesota. But one thing he noticed during his voter collection of signatures was that a lot of people, for one, wasn't registered, and for two, didn't even know what district they lived in. So I think we need to get some district maps up around North Omaha so people can see, like at Big Mamas and places where they have a space to put information. And we also need to get on a big campaign of voter registration, because it kind of reminds me of why North Omaha always have a low turnout when it comes to voting. And but I had a brother tell me today he ain't never voted in his life, and he's like 30 years old. And I think it's because, again, they don't see where the voting matters for them. And that's why I was interested to know about YouTube. Like, why do it matter to y'all, and how did that become such an important thing? And Miss Erica said Don Bacon wouldn't see us, but we saw his chief of staff. It was disrespectful how fake it was. Yeah, it's not a surprise. And Miss Jasmine for me. So yeah, before we close out, I do want to get that statement on why do you guys think, starting with you, Olivia, why is voting or being registered to vote important to you? And you know, since you talked about this campaign now to get these people registered, why is that something important to you, you think?
I love this question because I've definitely been an individual whose faith in voting has faltered, because when you continuously operate in a systemic system that wasn't built for you, it wasn't built for people who look like you or for the people around you who you love, you lose faith in that type of thing. But I'm also, as I've testified to a million times again, a believer in that knowledge is power. And right now, power lies within the capitalistic government that we have created for ourselves, which is democracy. And you can, like I said, not believe in politicians, you cannot believe in government, or you cannot believe in America and still vote. Your most important thing that you could do, if you believe all of those things, or maybe have an issue with the current system that we're being forced to operate within, a vote for now is a saying that says, I won't stand for this because you're forcing me to operate in the system. I will participate in order for me to strengthen my voice. That is right now how we can wield change. And I totally understand dissonance from wanting to do that. Like I said, if you maybe live in a district like District 2, where your voice is continuously counted against, but by law, you know, a vote, it has to get counted. It has to be listened to.
Yeah, I agree. Von Chapman said, Wanda Lewis, this is how the mayor and her followers on the city impose her and their will on District 2 over the ejection of the current District 2 representative, Juanita Johnson. Yeah. There was that. I know that time where the mayor had to, she felt like she had to comment on an exchange between Dave Fanslow and Juanita. And so again, this might be one of the reasons why they called me a bully, because then I made a picture of the mayor holding a baby, and the baby was have Dave Fanslow head on it, because I felt like she had to come to his rescue like a mommy. I mean, he's a grown man. He can handle himself with his bald head self. And he was sitting there being crazy and being disrespectful. And so when she called him an asshole, you know, he kind of deserved it. I mean, who's to say it could have been handled in a better way or not? But, you know, when you act it, then sometimes you got to be called it. And I think for her to step in and say, oh, her conduct, this and that, and then on the news, using the news again, propaganda, to show only the clip of her calling him the asshole, but not the clip of her asking him a question over and over. And he sit back there in his chair like this and won't answer the question. So then he finally answered it in a smart way. So, you know, and Miss Wanda said there are city council members that will always be in support of the mayor, and that's what the mayor wants, right? And so, and that's the kind of stuff we have to avoid. So as we look at these people who are on for city council for District 2, we want to make sure that we're not electing somebody else in our district that is going to be just strictly about the mayor. We don't want that. We don't want somebody who's only going to go by what she said. We want you to be the person who listens to what we have to say. And if it don't align with the mayor, vote with us. Now you might not win because it's only one of us on the thing, right? But still vote with us, because that shows us that you're willing to stand with us and not against us, regardless of her being the mayor. Jaden, so I wanted to know why do you think it's important for people to be registered to vote and to vote in elections?
I think for me, it's an inside outside approach. You can be on the outside, on the grassroots. Challenging the system. Being disrespectful at City Hall, what so have you.
Yeah.
And also engage within the system by being registered to vote, and voting in your local elections. Because at the end of the day, what we're going to see on April 1st in District 2 is that the City Council final 2 candidates for District 2 are going to be decided by probably between 50 and 100 votes. That's nothing. There's been City Council races in the past that have been decided by a number of like 100 to 200 votes. So every single little vote counts. People being registered to vote and not necessarily engaging in voting like for Democrats or Republicans or like for the president or governor level or whatever, are same people that are the reason that we have paid sick leave as a law right now in Nebraska, or the reason that we have medical marijuana on the books, and stuff like that. So I think it's important to engage not only on the local level, but also when it comes to direct issues as well, where you can impact it the most.
I agree. Yeah, so that's good. Any final words, Olivia, before we close out that you want to leave with the people? They will be on First Sky on Wednesday morning. Tune in. I think it's about 7:30-ish. They'll have them on the show. Just to give y'all another reminder of what's going on Wednesday. So Olivia, do you have any final words you want to leave with the people before we close out?
I don't think so. Thanks for having me. And remember, you come first. You got to take care of your mental health before you can take care of another human being. You matter. And thanks for letting me be your D2 moderator.
Oh, yeah. That's why we love you, Olivia. You always care about other people, girl. Go on, do your thing. Brother Jaden, anything you want to leave the people with? Final thought.
Be sure to, if you're able to in person, come to the debate on Wednesday at Assembly of the Saints. If not, we'll have an online option to be able to engage with the candidates in a meaningful way. Again, Sherman, thank you so much for having us on and uplifting us throughout this process.
Man.
And again, it's been an honor to be able to conduct this debate, and we look forward to what has to be said on Wednesday and what that has to entail for the election going forward.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And y'all thanking me, but I'm thanking y'all, because my heart is full to see the young people engage, and it just gives me hope for the future that we got people who's going to be in line 20, 30 years from now still to make sure that things are operating the way it's supposed to operate. And y'all give me hope. I'm definitely an advocate for the young people. I'm an advocate for the future. And you know that if it ever come down to it, y'all don't have to get your hands dirty. If somebody bothering you or disrespecting you, just let me handle them. I'll come to their office in the middle of the day and make sure I check them really, really, really good. My wife said you really do care about other people, Olivia, and we know you do. That's why we love you. As a family member, yeah, you've been around for a while. When Amir got killed, you reached out. You and my daughter been talking, me and you talk. I think it's just a beautiful thing to keep the relationship, and then also for you to keep blossoming, keep being more, because I'm looking forward to seeing what you and Jaden do in the future. And so and that's why I continuously talk with my brother Jaden. We just thankful for people like y'all in the community. Miss Joyce said good one for City Council. There you go, Joyce. Voice your opinion. There we go. And she said thank you guys, and she said she's looking forward to Wednesday. So I think we covered enough here today. It's been about an hour, and I will see y'all again on First Sky. And again, the broadcast is going to be, I've been elected to have the broadcast from my page since we have the platform already. So it'll be on my YouTube, on my Facebook, and my LinkedIn. And we'll be able to save that, and you can go back and watch it on any platform. The links are already up. And yeah, we will see y'all soon. Peace and hair grease in the Northeast.
Rah, rah, Omaha.